Although copywriting can completely change your life and give you more income than you ever thought possible in a corporate job, there are some dark sides to copywriting. There are some things that most people don't want to talk about, especially the gurus. They don't want to face this stuff. So instead of ignoring these things, let's actually face them. Let's actually talk about the stuff that people don't want to talk about, because chances are, if you're a successful copywriter, what I'm about to share with you is very relatable. And what I'm about to share with you is probably the reason that you're struggling to increase your income right now. These dark things can completely sabotage your growth, can completely sabotage your progress. And if you don't have the solution that I'm about to give you, you might stay stuck for a very long time. So with that said, let's get right into it. Cool, so we're in a slightly less ominous location now and just exploring Tokyo. We're here in Shinokubo. There's some amazing food stalls over here, so after this video we're going to go get something to eat. Now I want to talk to you about the negative sides of copywriting, the things that people don't talk about enough. And it's really important that you face this stuff, like I said previously, because if you don't face it, you're going to get stuck, like I did. Because when I first got started, things were good for a while. I was making some good money, but I burned out really, really quickly. And that's the very first challenge that you're going to come across that is very, very common. It's probably something every single copywriter is going to go through. You are going to burn out if you haven't already burnt out. I worked 16 hours a day every single day for like a whole year. It was really difficult and I pushed through it. And I mean, the first thing I can tell you is you got to push through it. But the other thing is you can't compromise on your fitness, because if you stop the fitness while you're in the burnout, you're not giving your body opportunities to grow, to heal. Because if you're just sitting at the computer all day, every day, you know, you're tired, then you go to sleep, then you wake up early, then you work, then you go to sleep. You're just going to lower your performance. Now, I know you want to work hard. I know you want to get your clients results, and I know you want to get ahead on work, but you got to take 1 hour to 2 hours a day for yourself. You got to put some time aside to work out. You got to put some time aside to build your own business, because like the client work is going to just keep coming. It's not going to go away. So if you don't create time for yourself now, you're going to burn out. And many copywriters that I've worked with, they do burn out and they get tired, and then they just get into this dark spiral for a year. And you know, that brings us to the second thing, which is you got to get used to the idea of having lots of bosses. You see, a lot of people leave their 9 to 5 because they want to have freedom. They don't want to work for a boss. But when you're in this industry, you actually work for more than one boss. You have like 4 or 5 different clients, you know? And yeah, the clients are not quite the same as a boss, like, because you can create some, like, you can negotiate, you can create some boundaries. You know, you don't have you have more autonomy, but you still have to answer to somebody at the end of the day. You still have to, you know, get feedback, and you still have to ask them what they think, and you still have to invoice them. And so you have to get used to the idea of serving lots of people. And my recommendation would be to stay at like 4 to 5 clients max. If you go over that, you're going to start getting overwhelmed, and ideally get them on retainer. Because if you can get them on retainer, then you can get used to that new priority, that new responsibility, and also get good at like negotiating for like less meetings. You'll solve this by being better at negotiation and being better at speaking your mind and not keeping stuff to yourself. You know, like if a client asks you for something and it's Friday night, if you're used to working a 9 to 5, you're kind of like used to always being like, yes, yeah, I'll go do it. Yeah, I'll go do this. Yeah, I'll do this. But like when you have a client, you can say no. You can say, hey, you know, I like appreciate that. I'd love to do this, but you know, this is Friday evening. This is not work time. I'll deliver this for you happily on Monday, but I'm offline for the rest of the week. You know, like you have to set those boundaries. You have to be willing to do that. And I know for some people that's actually quite difficult, because maybe you're just not used to saying no to your director or someone you have to like answer to, because, you know, during the 9 to 5, like if they ask you for something, you have to do it, right? But because our work isn't a 9 to 5, it's like, well, this is not work time, you know? So you have to be very, very clear with your boundaries. And in the early days, I wouldn't even ask certain questions I needed to get the job done. I wouldn't even ask stuff like, hey, who is this for? Like, what is the sales page for? Like, what is the product? Tell me a bit more about the people that we're selling to. I wouldn't even ask like important questions, because I was afraid of looking stupid, or I was afraid of asking the wrong question, or I was afraid of upsetting the client by like keeping them on a call for too long to get the information. I had this problem. It's like I had so many clients. I wasn't saying no to anything because I was afraid of, you know, disappointing the client, maybe losing the client. So you have to build that authority. You have to build that confidence. And then when you do that, then you're going to be able to get more results for yourself and for your clients. And you'll probably prevent the burnout as well, because when you set boundaries, you will not have to like do stuff that makes you extra tired in the first place, right? The worst part of isolation is that when you're not connecting with people, you don't end up posting or building a network online either. You end up just being like, all right, I'm just gonna hide in my shell. I'm not gonna talk to anybody. And that's probably the worst thing you could do, because if you can't see people in person, at least see them online. Like, at least make an effort to connect with people online. And I didn't do that for a very long time. And it's a regret I have, right? Because yeah, like, I wish I had made some more connections earlier on. So to combat isolation, you need to schedule a call like every week, like maybe two calls with strangers every single week, and just get to know people in the industry, like just get to know more people. And when you do that, it's gonna make a big difference, you know. I would highly recommend it. I highly recommend that you connect with people online if you can't connect with them offline. So to combat isolation, you need to schedule a call like every week, like maybe two calls with strangers every single week, and just get to know people in the industry, like just get to know more people. And when you do that, it's gonna make a big difference, you know. Okay, so the fourth point is nightmare clients. And everybody's had a nightmare client. I had a few nightmare clients as well. And this goes back to boundaries. It goes back to saying yes to the wrong people. You know, like, you got to make sure that you don't take them on. And there's a lot of copywriters I work with who, when we first started working together, they had a nightmare client. They had somebody really mistreating them, like making them work way too hard. And I tell them straight, like, I know they're paying you 60% of your income, but they're making you work 50 hours a week. And your other client, who's very nice, is only 40% of your income, but they're like easy. They're like 5 hours to 10 hours a week. Like, if you just fire the nightmare client, you're gonna have all that time back. Like, think of how much you could do with that time, how much money you could make if you just reallocate that time from the nightmare client to the good clients, right? But it's scary, it's scary. So you have to have that courage to make that move, fire that client. It's a very unique thing to actually fire clients, because unlike having a job where you like put in your notice, with clients, it's like, you don't know how you're gonna get another one as easily. Like with a job, you can probably just find another job. It's not as difficult. But when you're a beginner copywriter, or when you're like getting started, it's scary. It's like, I don't know if I'm gonna find a client. Like, I don't know where I'm gonna get the income from. So that can be very, very stressful at first. You know, if you have a closet full of clothes, right? And you have some dirty clothes, or some like old clothes, or some clothes you don't really like, and you make the decision to get rid of those clothes, and now you have new space in the closet. Within a few months, that closet can be filled with new clothes. It's just the way it works. Like, if you have space, if there is a gap, you don't have something, there's a void, it always gets filled. So it's the same with clients. It's like, if you have space in your calendar, you just gotta trust the process. You just gotta trust that, like, yeah, we're gonna not have that income for a month, or maybe 2 months, or maybe less if you work hard, right? Like, go back to the point we first talked about at the beginning, like, prioritize your business, spend an hour on your business every day, then you can afford to fire the client, because you have replacement income like immediately, right? And this brings us to the fifth challenge that most copywriters have, which is feast and famine income. Like, you lose the client, then you need to get a new client, then you lose that client, or you lose another client, you gotta get another. Like, it's this constant game where you have the money and you feel great, and you lose the money and you feel stressed, and then you have the money and you feel great, and then you have no money and then you feel very stressed, and that's horrible. It's a dark experience. It's not fun at all. And fortunately for me, I haven't really had it too bad. Like, I had 1 month in 2022 where I felt uncomfortable, but most of the time, the reason I didn't deal with this that much, because I always knew how to close clients. Like, I always had a strategy. I always was able to get clients if I needed a client. If I had a nightmare client, I could just replace them very, very quickly, because I knew what to do. And I've recorded a video on this channel where you can go watch that. In that video, I'm going to show you the 12 proven ways to get copywriting clients, the 12 ways that work right now. The strategies have worked for hundreds of copywriters to get clients. Go through that video, choose the strategies that make the most sense for you, and implement them every day. Spend like an hour a day on client getting. When you know how to close clients, like, it solves a lot, because you won't get burnt out, because you can fire bad clients that keep you too busy. You don't have to deal with nightmare clients, because you can get a better client. And you don't have to deal with feast and famine income, because you always know where your next deal's coming from, because you get clients easily. So go watch the video, go and learn the 12 ways to get copywriting clients. And the reason I created that video is because of what I'm about to share with you, because in our industry, one of the biggest challenges is spending money. Like, there are so many courses, there's so many coaches, the price of everything is like crazy high. It's like super expensive. Oh yeah, you know, you want to learn how to get clients, like 10 grand or 6 grand or 3 grand for this course, 3 grand for this course. So like, for me, I've spent over $100,000 in coaching at this point. And yeah, like, a lot of it was really good, but I probably lost 40 grand, 50 grand, didn't get that much value. So That's a challenge. It's like you have to just be prepared to like bite the bullet. Like just accept that 10% of your income should always go into courses, into coaches. Like in my opinion, if you don't use at least 10% of your income every month on coaching and getting better at your craft, like you're not going to make progress very quickly. I would just say it's like pay to play. Pay 10% of your income, just accept it. It's like a tax. It's like copywriting tax. Every month, 10% of your income should be allocated towards getting better at the copy craft. Like every month, just keep investing every month. Don't get distracted. Let's say you make like $6,000 a month, right? I can't believe I'm spending $600 a month on coaching. It's like, no, that's the price to pay for not having to work a 9 to 5 and having some freedom and being able to do this from anywhere in the world and having an income that can do this very, very quickly if you know what you're doing. So just accept the 10%. Just accept it. I suppose this is also one of the negatives. I don't really consider it as like one of the official ones I was going to share with you, but scarcity, because you don't feel like you're getting enough income. This idea that, oh, if I use 10% of my income to invest in coaching or getting better at my craft, it's like, oh yeah, I must keep all that money to myself. Like I need that 10% because I have expenses. Like, yeah, well, that 10% is too much for you, then you need to increase your income, right? Like for me, at this point, I'm investing about $10,000 a month. Every month. It's not like I stopped once I got to 10K, once I got to 25K. Like now I'm making a lot more than that. Now I'm a millionaire and like I'm still investing every single month. I'm still investing $10,000, sometimes more than that. It doesn't go away. You need to get used to the idea that 10% of your income should always be allocated to coaching, to business development. Let's call it that. Like 10% should be always allocated to business development. Now, I have two more things I want to share with you. And the next one is being blamed by your client for every single thing because it's all your fault because the copy makes or breaks everything. Yes, we're back in the ominous alley. And that is one of the biggest challenges is the client likes to throw that responsibility on you. They like to, sometimes, right? Like not all clients obviously, but many clients think the copy is this magic wand that you like wave it like this and boom, like sales. But the reality is it's not always like that. The reality is most of the time your copy is just like the last 10%. It pushes things over the finish line. The offer, the marketing strategy, the personal brand, the voice, the audience, like everything else plays a big part in taking it over the finish line, and your copy is just a small part of that. But when you're in the game, you can't help but want to take accountability for that. You can't help but want to feel responsible for why it is the way it is, you know? And so that can be very challenging, but it goes back to what I was saying earlier. It's like, if you have a good client, if you have a client that pays you well, if you have a client that understands marketing, you're not going to have that challenge so much because they understand how much the copy contributes. They know that it's not going to completely destroy the campaign. They also know that it's not going to completely transform their business. So like most of these challenges, these negative things all come back to needing that skill of, can I get a client if I want to? And if you can get a client and you know how to get a client, if you want a client, then like most of these challenges kind of fizzle away, you know? And that's the last challenge. The last one I want to talk about today is imposter syndrome. So feeling like it's your responsibility, feeling like it's your fault that everything flopped is one thing, but also feeling like you don't deserve to work with that business is a lot of the reason why people struggle to close a big client. They feel like they're not worthy. They feel like their skills aren't good enough. They feel like they're not at that level yet. They feel like they have to get more results first. And maybe that's you. Maybe that's why you haven't gone for your dream clients. Maybe you haven't gone for those big businesses because you just don't feel ready. This one's quite tricky. There's no immediate solve because a lot of it has to do with just putting in the reps. A lot of it has to do with just staying consistent. A lot of it has to do with surrounding yourself with successful people. That's a big part of it. Like, again, to go back to that idea of being with the right people, when you're with other people that are successful and you see that they have the same challenges as you, even though they've been in the game 5 years longer, or they've got 10 times more results than you, but they're still dealing with the same problems, or they're still worrying about the same problems, but they've got 10 years of experience on you, then you suddenly don't feel that same level of imposter syndrome. You're hanging around the right people. You feel like, yeah, I can succeed, right? So most of the stuff is solved with two things: being able to get clients, premium clients whenever you want, and being in a community of people that are going to support you, successful copywriters who are going through the exact same things as you. You get these two things right, the dark side of copywriting, it's not so dark. The challenges are not so difficult, and you can overcome them, and you can make 10, 15, 20, $25,000 every single month. You just have to stay consistent. You just have to push through these difficult times. And again, you have to get good at getting clients, and you have to get into a good community. For me, before I had my own community, the dojo, I would just intentionally connect with people, intentionally make friends. And if you do that, you're going to find yourself very, very successful very quickly, because in our industry, especially copywriters, are very introverted. Very few people, very few copywriters are making an effort to connect on Zoom, to connect with people online, to go to in-person events. So be the one that does. Be the one that does go to events. And that's really all I wanted to share with you today. So let's go and have some amazing Korean food here in Shinokubo. Very quickly. So prioritize. Okay, hang on. We're gonna probably take a lot of clips. Yeah. So, amazing results. Now I know you want to work hard. Hang on. Now I know you want to work. Now I know you want to work hard. And he's turning around. Are you still doing foreground? Thanks.